Boom, baby. This is the Boom Breakdown. I'm going to be going through the UFC 205. We'll start with Jim Miller and Thiago Alves from the Fight Pass prelims. Jim Miller's a savage, man. That guy always comes to scrap, always comes to fight, has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, very high submission rates. And Thiago Alves is moving down from 170 to 155. Now, what matters here is, did the weight cut hurt him? You know, we know he missed weight by 6 pounds or so. So obviously something happened. He claims food poisoning, but who knows what happened? But that could affect him. He can only rehydrate up to 173 pounds. Who knows if he walks around heavier? I mean, I feel that's a reasonable amount. So he should come in feeling pretty good fight night. But I think just Jim Miller's just got another level of tenacity that I don't know if Alves is going to be able to keep up with. You know, I think Alves is going to have a little bit of the size and strength advantage. Yeah, he has pretty aggressive Muay Thai style, but Jim Miller is one of those guys that he is not afraid to come forward. He's not afraid to exchange. He's probably going to look to take this fight to the ground and submit Alves, and I think that he's going to get it done by submission. Jim Miller by submission. Let's go to Rafael Natal versus Tim Boetsch. Both of these guys are grinders. I see both of these guys coming out hard, you know, not afraid to exchange. But in the end, I think Tim Boetsch is going to come out a little bit too powerful for Natal. You know, I think Natal most of the time looks for the takedown, looks to smother you, looks to pass guard, hit you with some good ground and pound. But he does have some crisp boxing as well. Doesn't throw that many kicks. Doesn't really have crazy amounts of movement on his feet, but you know, he's a sharp stand-up guy. But I think Tim Boetsch is going to be able to overwhelm him come like the second, third round in the stand-up area. I'm going with Tim Boetsch by TKO second round. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Michael Johnson. Man, it's crazy that this is on the Fox Sports prelims, but this is a huge fight for a contender for, you know, the title. But it kind of sucks for these guys because as far as fighting goes, they deserve it. As far as business goes, you just never know what's going to happen with Conor McGregor. I mean, these guys are at the top at 155. Nurmagomedov has never lost. He's undefeated, 24-0. That really is not said for any other guys in the UFC. Michael Johnson, though, the way he fought Dustin Poirier and came out with that speed and that aggression and knocked him out like that, that was really impressive. I mean, if he comes fighting like that fight, I think Nurmagomedov is going to have real trouble on the stand-up. And I think it's a case of Michael Johnson getting off real early with his speed and aggression. I think you got to throw Nurmagomedov off his game. Don't let him settle in. Don't let him grapple, get a hold of you. I mean, if you got a guy flustered early on, it's kind of hard for him to get in his rhythm. So I really think Michael Johnson's going to come out pretty quick, pretty strong. He seems to have real good cardio, just really fast hands. This could be Nurmagomedov's first loss. It's really hard to pick this fight. I mean, it could go both ways, but it's obvious which ways the other guy's going to win. I mean, Nurmagomedov is going to have to try to drag this down to the ground, and I think he's going to try to do that fairly early as well because, you know, you want to build that lactic acid in Michael Johnson's arms and get him tired and then finish him off on the ground, whether it be ground and pound or submission. I really, really feel like Michael Johnson can catch him, but I just can't go against Nurmagomedov. It's just a guy that's undefeated for that long. I mean, there's a reason. I just feel like, you know, he's going to find a way. You know, he's going to find a way to get Michael Johnson down. Take him down, overwhelm him with ground and pound, passing, take the back maybe. I just see him finishing the fight maybe by submission or TKO stoppage on ground and pound. Nurmagomedov. Frankie Edgar, Jeremy Stephens. Wow. Frankie Edgar has been one of my favorites all time. I mean, this guy's got nothing but heart. It's crazy. You've seen this guy hurt in so many fights, and you could just never count him out. He's always backfiring away the next round. Jeremy Stephens, though, on the other hand, he's coming down from lightweight to featherweight. He's a big featherweight. Frankie Edgar's not so big in featherweight. You know, he's natural featherweight size. Probably could even fight bantamweight. Jeremy Stephens, though, in the last few fights I've seen him, it seems like he's picking up on his speed, getting his explosive speed better and better as he goes on, as he takes on more, you know, smaller, faster fighters in the featherweight division. Maybe not as much power, but a little bit quicker with their techniques than the lightweight guys. The thing is, Jeremy Stephens, he carried that speed over now, but he also carried the power over. And to me, Frankie Edgar is the more well-rounded fighter. He's very good movement, very good crisp boxing and changing levels, hitting takedowns. I do think that Edgar is going to try to mix it up really well like usual. He doesn't really stray away from his game plans and how he usually fights, no matter who it is. He's going to look to strike to takedowns and overwhelm Stephens and get him a little tired. I just feel like Stephens is fast enough to catch Edgar at this point. Edgar gets caught with some power and he gets rocked in some of these fights. And I think Jeremy Stephens catches you. It's a whole nother level of power. So I hate to see it and I hate to say it, but I'm going with Jeremy Stephens by knockout. Alright, let's go Miesha Tate, Raquel Pennington. Miesha Tate, one of the all-time best in the women's bantamweight division. Obviously, she's fought Ronda Rousey. She's been up there. She's won the title against Holly Holm in that amazing comeback in the fifth round. She's pretty much well-rounded everywhere. You know, I think she's better off on the ground. She's definitely a higher level grappler than she is a striker. But Raquel Pennington is also looking really good too. She just seems like a strong bantamweight gritty fighter. You know, she seems to overwhelm some of her opponents, and she's got a lot of aggression. She comes forward. She's not afraid to come forward. But in the end, I think Miesha Tate's the more well-rounded fighter. She has experience on her side. That's something you can't teach, but that's something that definitely plays a factor. So I'm going to go with Miesha Tate by decision. Or submission. One of those two. Chris Weidman, Yoel Romero. Man, Chris Weidman in New York. Hard to pick against that guy. He's going to have a lot of fans behind him. It's going to be real loud. He seems to be motivated by that. He seems to have a strong willpower. But, you know, in his last few fights, he didn't come out on top. I mean, Yoel Romero's coming off that suspension, so he's definitely he's facing a little bit of the rust. But, man, that guy's an Olympic wrestler. He looks in phenomenal shape in the weigh-ins. And I just have a hard time seeing Weidman being able to overwhelm him with boxing or with takedowns. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a very fairly competitive fight. It's going to be real close. Both of these guys are good at the same things, you know, like both strong guys, big guys for the weight class. I just think Romero's a little bit more explosive and maybe even a little bit more tricky on the feet. You know, he likes to set up little punches with kicks and he changes the angles, and I think that, you know, he's a southpaw. It's hard to deal with. He's short and compact. I mean, I honestly don't see Weidman being able to take him down and hold him down and hit a submission. I feel like the only possible way Weidman could win this fight is by breaking him down round by round and coming to a decision, you know, just getting Yoel Romero tired. He's been known to get tired in the later rounds, but I think Romero is going to outwork Weidman. I just feel like he's got a little bit more explosive speed, power, trickery. I'm going to go with Yoel Romero by decision. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Can't go against Joanna. I don't see anybody beating that woman, man. She is a savage. You could just see the way she talks in her videos, the way she trains. I mean, I've never seen so much intensity. And just someone who just knows that they're the best and nobody could touch them is an unbelievable belief you can see that she has. And I don't think anybody's taking her title. I'm going to go with Joanna by TKO, probably within 2 rounds. Next up, Tyrone Woodley, Stephen Thompson. Probably the hardest fight to pick on this fight card. Man, Tyrone Woodley showed, and has always shown, some crazy power. That right hand it touches you, you're going out. The only thing is, Stephen Thompson, he moves really well. He has a karate style. He's in and out. He's very, very good at avoiding getting hit. He's very fast. He's very accurate. I think this guy knows exactly what he's doing in there. He's going to be bouncing around, outside range, inside his range, touch you up, get back outside his range. And I think, man, if Woodley can touch him early, he can make something happen. He can get that knockout. It's, you know, if he connects, it's over. But I don't see him connecting. I see Thompson being smart in the earlier rounds, and I think after a little while of getting tagged up, Woodley's going to get a little frustrated, maybe start to overcommit, you know, overreach for that right hand. Look for some takedowns from the outside, which is going to be hard to get close to Thompson, man. The guy knows how to move. He knows how to be in and out, stick you in and out. Quick, snappy punches, accurate. He's constantly tagging guys up. I think Stephen Thompson is going to get it done by TKO. Main event, Eddie Alvarez, Conor McGregor. Man, Conor McGregor is just making history on history. It's really hard to see this guy lose at this point. I mean, yeah, Eddie Alvarez is right. I mean, McGregor didn't take the route that a lot of these fighters took by really just sticking to fighting the best fighters in the world, the best guys in the division. You know, he kind of had a fast track to the title at 45. He fought a guy, you know, like 2 or 3 guys that weren't crazy good. But, you know, Dustin Poirier was a really good test, and he made that look easy. So, you know, and then what he did to Aldo, you really can't say nothing about him after that. I mean, that's the best featherweight in the world. He put him away in 13 seconds. Pure skill, timing, you know. If you watched the video before that fight, he was drilling it in the locker room. It was amazing seeing his exact movement, and then he hit it in the fight. Exactly the way he worked it. But I think it's true. Eddie Alvarez is a different beast. You know, Nate Diaz was a tough style fight. He's very, very overwhelming with volume boxing, but Alvarez is a complete fighter. He's willing to scrap in there with you. He's got very good movement, very good game plans. A new striking coach in Mark Henry, I think, is going to improve his speed and technique on the feet. But I think Alvarez is also such a powerful wrestler. If he wants, he can drag you to the cage and get you down. I feel this is the same thing with whether McGregor could frustrate and tag Eddie Alvarez early. I think there's no way he can lose. I think he's got the way better striking. He's way more efficient, way more accurate, and I think he's way more confident with his striking game. I think McGregor knows what he's doing as far as his range goes, and backing you up and giving you that pressure, making you feel like you're drowning in there is so key for McGregor's style. The thing with Nate Diaz, he couldn't really do that. Nate Diaz is like literally like, fuck you, like after you hit him. I mean, he's not phased, and you have to deal with that. You have to understand this guy's not going away. Alvarez, on the other hand, he's been rocked in a lot of fights himself. McGregor's shots land, and it seems to hurt people. I mean, the guy's got real good technique and accuracy. His timing is unreal. His boxing's amazing. His head movement's amazing. He slips punches and counters like no other. Man, I just can't see McGregor not being able to catch Alvarez. I just feel like when it comes to the stand-up fighting, Alvarez is a little bit more of a sloppy brawler type of style, and McGregor is very calculated. And it's not easy to start a 5-round fight really fast-paced, really hard-nosed, in your face. If Alvarez wants to win this fight, he's going to have to start the fight like that. Get McGregor to the cage, beat him up there, make him work to defend takedowns, hit him against the cage, elbows, knees, whatever you have to use, clinch work. That's the way Nate Diaz was winning. When he was winning in that fight, it was up against the cage. Granted, Eddie Alvarez is not going to have the same level of volume in boxing. He has more power, more compact, powerful guy. And I think that's what's on his side. He has the strength and the wrestling advantage. I think if Eddie could take Conor down early, get some good ground and pound off, stay on top, frustrate him, he could probably finish McGregor by ground and pound eventually. If he can get it, you know, on the ground a bunch of times in different rounds, yeah, he's going to overwhelm Conor. Maybe later rounds, Conor fades. He could, you know, jump on that opportunity to keep him drowning, gas him out, finish him on the ground, whether it's submission or ground and pound. That's what I see him being able to do. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think McGregor's speed, his confidence is at an all-time high. The fact that this fight is going to make him two-weight world champion simultaneously, which no other fighter's ever done. The fact that he's going to make history, it just doesn't seem like it's possible that it won't happen. I see Conor McGregor finishing the fight by TKO first or second round. Boom. You guys have it there. That's the Boom Breakdown. You can follow me on Instagram at BrianBoom135. And Twitter, what's the Twitter handle? It might be different. Let me check it real quick for you guys. The Twitter handle is at BoomBrian. I'll see you guys next time. Boom.